Welcome into A Toast of Film. Guys, we're back. Sorry about that. Needed to take some time off. Had to get my life together a little bit, but what a time to be back. We got so many cool things in theaters. I got a Hoppers review coming soon. Went and saw that last night. Let me tell y'all, that could be movie of the year. Like, you'll hear about that. But we're going a little more adult with this episode because, guys, this episode is not one, not two, not three, but four films about killing people. That's right. We got a killing special, and what a time to be alive because this is my birthday weekend. This past Thursday, the 5th, your boy turned 37. That's right, old as hell. Went to a TNA wrestling show, got this cool shirt, and now I'm here with y'all. We're back. We're going to review. So we got reviews for Scream 7, ooh, How to Make a Killin', Psycho Killer, and Dolly, as well as Ebo's definitive Scream ranking. I say definitive, there's a few that flip-flop time to time. So we'll get into all of that. But like I said, we're so back, and we are toasting this week with this, the ghost, the infinite ghost, infinite ghost face, as it were. Really cool art. I couldn't find anywhere on the cam what this is, but it kind of tastes like an IPA. It's very, has that IPA pungentness. So if I had to guess, I'm not a beer guy, but I would say it's probably IPA. Like I said, very cool can. So check it out. A little pricey compared to, what we normally get, but overall not bad. Also, is birthday weekend, so got a little full throttle here on the side, get a little boost. But enough jibber jabbering. Let's get into the reviews. Starting out with the best movie of the four. Let's just say not going to be a great week for ratings. However, there's one, and that's why I'm starting with that one. So this is Dolly. We actually got sent a screener of this from our friends at Stripe Media, but I just was not able to get my life together to get the review out early. It is in theaters now at the time you're listening to this. So Dolly is from director Rod Blackhurst, who was the writer of Night Swim. Decent little movie. And we got Fabian Therese as Macy, and Sean William Scott, Stifler himself, rundown himself as Chase. And they're this couple, they're supposed to be doing this nice romantic, he's going to propose. And oh no, wouldn't you know, there's a dilapidated house just chilling back there with this character, Dolly. So Dolly is played by Maxi Impaler, which, as I showed you, I'm a wrestling guy. Big fan. Maxi Impaler does their thing over in, Japan. The cool thing about Dolly is Maxi Impaler, very, big individual, very tall, built up. So Dolly automatically has a very imposing presence. And then this like really cool like doll mask. Dolly, kind of an infantile mindset, doesn't speak, but Maxi Impaler does a lot with hand gestures in this. A lot of this, you get a lot from these hand gestures and just general stature. I will say the weakest part of this, even though I was happy to see him, is Sean William Scott. His character arc brings the movie down a little bit for me. Could have done without it. Won't give any spoilers, but his arc just not good. This movie, it has you'll probably hear this on every single review, but it does, give me some aspects similar to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which very high praise. No one ever say that that's bad praise. So the interesting thing with this is it's like playing house because this Dolly babies Macy. She, snatches her up, brings her to her house, puts her in these like doll clothes, a crib, has a pacifier, high chair, tries to feed her. After Macy has an accident because she's so scared, she puts a diaper on her, whoops her, bottle feeds her, tries to do something else, feed her. And it's just very interesting how in depth they go, where Dolly wants a child so bad that this adult, Macy, she is going to. And the size difference between the two is pretty substantial. Where, I mean, Macy, Fabian, the Reese who plays Macy, she is taller for, a lot of female actresses, but there's still enough of a discrepancy where it provides some cool scenes, like when Dolly's like rocking with Macy on her. Um, this movie, it's not without flaws. There's some storyline aspects that I'm just like, okay, even though they involve some people that I do like. Overall, though, I think this movie was just such a fun ride, such a good, breath of fresh air for the slasher genre. I mean, we've been getting, schlock like what was it, Founders Day, and then we got Hard Eyes that had a very just horrible ending that brought down the movie. Even though Hard Eyes is fantastic, but the ending did drop it some. And so it's nice to see something like this where we do get like a really cool, really interesting horror movie. And if this were to spin off, or at least if Rod Blackhurst were to expand his library, I would be very excited about that. So Dolly, not a perfect film, but I really enjoy it. Had a great time with it. Big shout out to Maxie and Peller and Fabian and Therese. Their dynamic, very good in the movie. I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5 cheers. All right, let's get into the movie with all the reshoots, the movie with all the controversy, but we're not here for either of those. We're here for Scream 7. This is from director Kevin Williamson, who was the writer of the original Scream, as well as the writer of Curse, the werewolf film. Trey and I, big fans. We got Neve Campbell is back as Sidney Prescott. We got Isabel May as Tatum. This is her daughter. Courtney Cox is back as Gail Weathers. Some other people, we got Anna Camp as their neighbor Jessica Bowden. McKenna Grace is Hannah. Love seeing old McKenna Grace, my arch nemesis. She's too dang talented. Makes me sick. But we got all of them. We got some other people. The twins are back. Randy's niece and nephew, for no real reason in this movie. They don't provide anything in the film. Here's my thing. So we know all the crap that went on with this movie. We're not talking about that. The problem is when you watch this movie, it feels like this is supposed to be two different films. It feels like they took two films, put them together, and was like, oh, I guess that's a completed film. And it's not. The gore is definitely upped. There's like some Art the Clown level, like Terrifier level gore in this, which felt very off for Scream, because Scream's always been very grounded. I will tell you this: if you are at home and can do so safely, if you want to get, very inebriated, just take a small sip of beer every time they say the word AI or drop an F-bomb. Halfway through this movie, you're gonna be buzzed. You're gonna need to drink some water for the rest of the night, because this movie, it's nothing but F-bomb city and AI this, AI that. So I was just like, what are we doing, guys? It does provide some decent ideas. I will say I liked Isabel May. I like Neve Campbell playing a mom. This like mom version of Sydney. I thought was pretty cool. Courtney Cox, she's always fine as Gail Weathers. McKenna Grace does some cool stuff in this. I like old McKenna Grace. She's my arch nemesis because she's too talented, but I am happy to see somebody this talented, just exploding on the scene everywhere. And I mean, she's been the young version of everyone for years, so now she actually is getting into her own, which is pretty cool to see. The killer is very obvious. Soon as the person walked on the screen, I was like, killer. But overall, I love the Scream franchise. I still, even with this and 6, I still say Scream is the best horror franchise just because, I mean, 1, 2, 4, and 5 better than most, movies around here. So this, it's not great, but it's not horrible. Everyone's trying to make it out to be horrible. It's not a horrible movie. I think it's better than 6. I will still say 6 has probably one of the best openings of the entire franchise, but I think this movie is a little better than 6, even though they just kill off main characters and move on. This has the highest body count, I think, of any Scream film. They'll just kill off a main character and that's it. No, nothing else. Thank you. Thank you for your service. Here's the check. So, Scream 7, it's not horrible, but it's not great. It will end up at like, I'm gonna give it a solid 3 out of 5. I I have so much love for this franchise, but this just is not it. Let's just shelve it for a little bit. We have enough great films of Scream that we don't need to tarnish. All right, so this is for next one is How to Make a Killin' from director John Ford, who directed Emily the Criminal. It's got our man Glenn Powell as Beckett and our girl Margaret Qualley as Julia. We also have Jessica Henwick as Ruth, Bill Camp as Warren, and I mean the rest of the supporting cast. We got Ed Harris, Ned Williams, Topher Grace, Zach Woods, amongst others. This movie I was expecting to be like a fun romp of a time. It is not that. It is pretty depressing at points. It's kind of a bummer movie at points. Um, and with the ending, I hate the ending. It makes sense. I get it. I really do understand that that ending is very logical. I just hate it as like a viewer. Glenn Powell, he's fantastic. What else did I say? Margaret Qualley, she's very good. She's kind of like a friend slash antagonist in this. Jessica Henwick as Ruth, I thought very good. She's been in a lot of things. She's great. Bill Camp, my man Bill Camp as Warren. Dude, loved Bill Camp as Warren. But overall, it's a movie you watch and you're like, okay, there we go. And then it's over. Nothing else really to say about this. How to Make a Killin', I'll give it like a 2.7 out of 5 cheers. It's not a piece of garbage, but it's nothing I'd want to revisit. All right, and before we get into our Scream ranking, which is how we're going to end the episode with the list of the week, boy, guys, buckle up for this one. I won't say spoilers, but there might be minor spoilers. So if you're worried about psycho killer spoilers, very minor spoilers, then, skip ahead to the ranking. But this is Psycho Killer from director Gavin Polone. And we got Georgina Campbell as Highway Patrol Jane and James Preston Rogers as our killer. Oh, man, what a mess. Where to begin? I was taking notes during this movie because I was flabbergasted. Because this one was getting terrible reviews, but I don't let the reviews skew me until I see it for myself. Because the great thing about movies, everybody's different. I will give it this. When the intro credits hit, I was like, all right, we might have something here. Have people been wrong? And then the movie plays and you're like, oh. So first thing, this guy in the opening scene, he kills a cop. And then the next time we see him, his car is fixed. They claim it's a different car. It looks the same. I could be mistaken. He drives a lot of cars. They're exactly the same, but I'm just like, where's this cop killer just ditching this car that they shot out the window for and all that? I don't know. That just bothered me. There's a goofy scene where a 18-wheeler flips. Very stupid. He drinks blood at one point. Never talked about again. Not really sure about that. Let's get into the meat of this, though. So Georgina Campbell, her husband's the cop that's killed in the beginning. And she takes a leave of absence because she's going to go hunt him down herself. Here's the thing. We got a rogue cop who is going on leave. She has her badge, her gun, and her uniform with her, though, and she's calling places stating she's a cop. She's, like, calling the FBI and other cops and all that stuff, and she's gonna find him. So then she happens to figure something out, and she is going in his hotel room, try and get him, number 1, by herself, without backup. It's police have been called. She didn't even wait. She's just going in. Number 2, she closes the door. Like what? So you can be quieter? Like, dog. This is a guy that's already killed like 30 people at this point, and you're going in alone with your little handgun. So then they fight. She gets thrown through a window. He gets his stuff and leaves. And then she's at the library that same day. This little girl who's just been beat up by this dude and tossed through a window is at, come on now. Like, just ridiculous. And then the ending completely comes out of nowhere. It was referenced, but it doesn't make sense. None of it ever really makes sense. There is one crazy scene that's a slow-mo orgy death scene where there's an orgy and then psycho killers just go in there killing people in slow motion. Just this movie has potential, because I will tell you, James Preston Rogers as the killer, I really like. They don't ever show you his face. He has a very deep voice. He's very imposing. I think he did a great job. Miss Campbell as the Highway Patrol Jane, not so great, kind of silly. But I mean, this movie, it's just not good. There is good stuff within it. I just think it needed, script touch up, something to change it, because it's just not great. So Psycho Killer, I'm going to give it a generous, like 1.9 out of 5. Just not good. No intention of rewatching. Just nothing I'm caring about. All right, but let's try and end with something fun. This is Ebo's Scream ranking. And you know how we do it. We're going to start bottom to top. So at number 7, we have Scream 6. Scream 6, not a good movie, not a fun watch. Best intro, potentially, of the whole franchise. I stand by that. Samara Weaving, the reveal where the killer just pulls off the mask and walks in the crowd. Like, that's what we need. It makes sense. It's Scream. They're just people putting on a costume. Scream 7, I put at number 6. Not much better than Scream 6, but enough where I could maybe edge it out. At number 5, we have Scream 3. Now, the only reason Scream 3 is above 7 and 6, because it's probably a worse film. I have a lot of nostalgia. I remember, renting this at the, movie store, like Blockbuster, and I just have a lot of love for Scream 3, so that's why it's there. Number 4, I wish I could put this one higher, because it is a great one, and that's Scream 5. That's right, Jack Quaid and our girl Honora, and Mikey Madison. And Scream 5, great movie, but there's a few things about it. And number 3, I got Scream 4. This one, I flip-flop with my number 2, which is Scream 2. Because Scream 4 did such fun reinvention of the metagame, but Scream 2, just classic. You got Mickey, you got, like, Mrs. Loomis, but, I mean, number 1 is Scream. Scream, if Halloween did not exist, then Scream would be the number 1 slasher film of all time. But John Carpenter's Halloween, gotta put that one there. So there you go, guys. Please, 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 please do me one favor. Check out Dolly. Either in theaters, check it out when it hits VOD. Dolly is well worth your time. I think, an indie film like this, a very creative film, a very well done film, it deserves a lot of love. Because, Trey and I, we're some horror guys. I mean, look at the Halloween box set right there. But we've reached the end of the episode. Hope y'all enjoy. We're back. Like I said, it's my birthday weekend. I'm off. I'll be doing a Hoppers review. Really excited about that one. I'm also going to go see The Bride. So I might just do a little double feature with those. But stay tuned. Check us out on Instagram and TikTok. A Toast to Film, all one word. Check us out on Twitter at film_toast. Check us out on YouTube. You can see my cool little TNA shirt. Mike Santana's right there. The man, the world champ. You can see all the little goobers behind me. Make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to subscribe. I appreciate it. And you know what? Every now and then I've been popping on Twitch playing Minecraft. So check us out. Look on Twitch, A Toast to Film, all one word. But guys, we just hope y'all are doing well. The world's crazy, but we got each other. We got movies. Tell somebody you love them. And from Trey and myself, we just hope you have a good night and good viewing.